So live.
Yay!
Let's
We are
hyperventilate.
live. It's still some
Welcome
breathing as well.
everyone. Yes. Well, we have a hot topic today, so we're like both of us are heart palpitating. Um, Welcome to Leadership Chat with Luan Chen and Mayvu Coach. We are delighted to bring these conversations to actually share these conversations publicly because we have these conversations privately and we let our hair down and we talked about leadership behind the scene, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we're not just trying to, look good, sell stuff, but really learn ourselves what does leadership really mean across the world in all different ways that people are doing it. So today I talked Luan into talking about Trump, Donald J freaking Trump as a leader. And we were both just kind of like, we've never talked about this publicly before. What do you have to say, my love?
Yeah, and I want to start saying that it's really out of my comfort zone, and yeah, but it's really, I think it's a really good topic, and I think it's great that people talk more about leadership in general, and of course, Donald Trump, right? So I've been asking myself, and I was so curious, and I couldn't, understand. So that's why I was asking you, why? Why, are there so many people, supporting Trump? So I want to understand, what's what it is, what's behind, Um, and for me, I think what is most interesting is about people, about the underlying, the psychology and all of these, in it. So usually when I work with leadership on a daily basis, I work with people and I'm all about, all of the positive things like uplifting, motivating, helping people, influencing positively, and not so much about what I think this may be a lot about fears or what.
And manipulation
Uh,
and
yeah,
marketing and false
eh,
advertising and falsehood. There's so much here.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what is it? Uh, Because yeah, I don't get to talk about it, and this is really a unique opportunity, and it's really like I would love to hear from people, if they are Trump supporters. So give us, please give me some insights. I would love to hear, if there anyone is listening.
Well,
I'm
I tell
really
you,
interested to learn.
my mother is a Trump supporter. My mother is just love Donald Trump. Um, and we have had many conversations or blowout, we should say. Not really, because I just know that I can't convince her. But I've been studying my mom a reaction to the myth of Donald Trump, to the image of Donald Trump, and it's just really fascinating to me. So I want to really talk about Donald Trump leadership style and not really do the politicking thing. But I've been studying him. Well, I've been studying him actually before he even ran for presidency. I remember a long time ago, back in the 90s, when he did the show The Apprentice. I don't know if you remember know of that show. He did a series,
I
and it's one
don't.
of the longest running series. And he would, bring brilliant, talented mind people together in a room. They give him a task, a leadership task, and then he would look for ways to just cut them down at the knees. And every show, somebody would have to leave and go that you lost and you get cut out. And and they would tuck their tails, and they get in the cab and they would be like upset, angry, and feeling so unjust and unseen and unappreciated. And this happens every week until somebody wins the thing. And I hated the Apprentice show. I just couldn't stand that stupid show. I mean, I'm like, how could you do that to people? How could you just berate people and think that that's good leadership? So
Mm.
that's the beginning of my study of Donald Trump. Anyway, so and then he did the art of the deal, and there were a bunch of documentaries that were made from him, and a lot of it really dispel how this man lies, how he manipulate and play the game of politics. He played the game of the court. He would be like taking people to court because he can tie things up in the court system so that he is not accountable for anything. Up and then when it comes to money, I remember, oh my gosh, about 3 years ago, before COVID, I was in Vietnam for a business trip, and I was in a taxi and this guy in Hanoi, actually, he was driving me around, and he like we were talking, and he's, oh, you're from California and America. Oh, I love America. And do you know Donald Trump? And I'm like, oh my God, do I have to talk about this? And he was just going off of how much he loved Donald Trump, and how Donald Trump is a billionaire, and how he's so amazed that this guy can make so much money. And it's all bullshit. Like it's come out over and over, that Donald Trump didn't start from nothing. He started from money that his dad gave him, Fred Trump. His dad gave him like $1 million or something like that to get started. But his story is that he, self-made millionaire. Bullshit. Anyway, so however, when it comes to leadership, I really think that Donald Trump is very effective as a leader, a certain kind of leader. Not our
Mm.
kind of leader, but he's very effective at the old school leadership, from fear, like you said, from fear, manipulation, and marketing. Um, I saw this movie. I love old movies about old eras, and there was this one piece that, um, the first time that the newspaper was made, and it went to Sweden, actually, and they were putting out a newspaper, and what the the monarch learned was, the first lie wins. Repeat after me. The first lie wins. That's a form of leadership. So they put it in the newspaper, whatever that is, and they broadcast it out there, and that is the first lie. Whoever start the first lie wins. And Donald Trump really takes that all the way home. I mean, he used social media, he used the press, he used his buddy who runs the gossip magazine in America, that seed all these lies to feed the mass. So Donald Trump is a whiz at manipulating the mass, not the educated mass, but the kind of group of people that love to watch wrestling. The wrestling
Wrestling.
confederates, right? They
Mm.
put the mask on, and they do the fake wrestling, and they pound on, and they go, oh, and the crowd cheer, and it's like, wow. So that's what Donald Trump's appeal to. I can go on. So I'm gonna stop right there. Jump in, honey. So his all I can say is his leadership works for a certain group of people, and it becomes like a cult, all the way from his personal assistants, his children, all the way out to the mass.
Mm.
Talk about
Interesting.
that, Miss Leadership
So,
Coach.
so it's about you say wrestling. For me, what is wrestling? Is it like about, power? It's it's about, he's like what you said, right? Like marketing. So okay, so it's power, it's marketing, right? So it's
Short attention
manipulation and
span.
yeah.
Yeah. And
So
it's like appealing to a bunch of eighth grade boys. However, there are lots of women that are Trump women too, which is that's another amazing thing that it just blows my mind on like how can women support men who grab pussy, who outright rape people and sexually assault them, and they are willing to look away. And my mother does. I mean, like, but then my mother also looked away from the Catholic Church sin. You know, the Catholic Church and all the rape and sexual assault rape cases from the priest to the cardinals to all this stuff, right? Well, my mom completely ignored all of that. Bless it all and said, well, you know, it's just one or two bad apples. And the same thing she does for DJT, right? She doesn't want to look at the truth. She wants this image of a strong white male to make her feel safe. And Donald is
mm,
willing to stand up and say, I'm that strong white male. You should follow me.
yeah. So people follow, is it maybe because, they are admired, inspired by this courage.
Yeah,
They see him as a
there's still
brave
so
person,
many
someone that
people in
can
the world.
protect them.
Yeah, there's around the world. This is not just in one location, right? There are just as many Vietnamese people in Vietnam loving Donald Trump and sending money to Donald Trump to support him and to support all of his lies. And everything that he does is to fundraise, to put in his own pocket. Yet people are willing to overlook all of that because they want they they want to be associated with a strong white male leader, that traditional white male leader that's are willing to say, I'm your guy, I can do it, I will save the day. And we both know that leadership, if you are setting up that kind of leadership, it's not going to last if there's so many things wrong with that kind of leadership.
Okay, so Jake, is this, this is my what I think, but I'm not sure if it's right. So please tell me if
Yeah,
what I understand is correct. So what you said, they want to be associated, So is it, what people believe, their values, their belief and values that will reflect in, the leaders that they follow, right? So, but so money, power,
that's right. You just
prestige,
had a
fame,
value
you know.
conversation on another broadcast. You just had a value conversation, right? Value is such a fascinating conversation because yes, when you ask what's your value, we all say integrity, honesty, trustworthiness, friendship, kindness. We all say those
Mm,
nice values, but we're operated by our deeper hidden values. And that those values, we don't admit to those very publicly, but it's there if you look at. So, what's Donald Trump's value and Donald Trump's supporters' values?
and you said it's not gonna last, right? So it's
Yeah.
not sustainable, is it?
Well, it's not sustainable, but it is sustainable, right? I mean, but it takes a lot to be sustainable. So Donald Trump's leadership style is like Putin's leadership style, Soviet Union, Putin, right? So so he rob the power from his people, from the country. He makes himself sovereign for life until he's 80 something or whatever, whenever he died. So so yes, unfortunately it can last about 80 years or 100 years, as long as the guy lasts. And it's not sustainable, as in, like, if you want to create an innovative company or an innovative country, it's not going that kind of leadership will not make it. um, if you want to have if you want to have a peaceful environment where your people think and thrive, that's not going to make it. But if you want control and you want everything goes to you and you're the only one, you're the king of the land, well, shit, it works.
Yeah, I think you said it earlier. It's old style, right? So
Yeah.
I think it
Old
works, back in the
authoritarian.
days, but old authority. But I did ask the question, is it sustainable? But somehow I see it's not because he's not there anymore. I mean, he's been taken away, so it's not sustainable. That's what we see, right? So,
Well,
um,
it's not sustainable,
yeah.
but he's still in the background. He's like the shadow president right now to a third of this country, which is super scary. They're still trying to get him. They still think that, the election was stolen and that it's stolen from him. They still think that, which is completely bullshit. And they're creating all sorts of lies upon lies to try to put him back in. And he's not alone though. He must have supporter and people who want to hang on to that power in order to make this happen. So there are people in this world, in corporations, in government, who want that kind of power. The Philippines, Brazil, who else? Belarus, China, North Korea. Australia is teeter-tottering. There are so many countries that want to subscribe to this kind of leadership so that they can take the power and take the coffer, take the money.
Wow, that's interesting. Hmm.
Look at my uh my physical t trainer. He stay up until midnight to watch us. Hi, that. um, yeah. So
Hello.
that's what we have is what is really leadership? Is Trump an effective leader? Well, apparently at some level he is. He is out there. He's still controlling the mass. He still can mobilize people to do crazy things. He taps into this vein of desperation. So you talk about fear. There's also fear and desperation, and just like they want an instant feel good. They don't want to do the work inside to transform or to become better. They want the old. I don't even know what old life that they're saying. Make America great again. America has always been great and struggle, so it didn't go away. But anyway, so there's this nostalgia of wanting to go backward, and they feed in on the white supremacist white dominant race that wants to control this country, the minority of white control, very Nazi-ish, very um, uh, anti-immigrants, anti color people, yellow, brown, black, whatever. So that's what they want. This they want the rest of the world to be their slave or their colonies, and they want to be at the top of the food chain. and they think that we're the one that caused their problem, and they forget the whole history of how this country came to be born. So, what a leadership puzzle. So, how do we coach someone like Donald Trump?
And it's also, you mentioned about desperation, right? And supremacy and race and all that. And I think what I said earlier about, people's core value, what do they look up to? What is it that they really admire? This power, prestige, and, fame or money, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, I think, and greed, right?
Yeah, the appearance of power, the appearance of having money, the appearance, and you know, power, money, and prestige is still uh very dominant. And I want to shift a little bit our conversation of like, because we do work more with women than men, I think, and that's a big assumption. I don't know what, but like I want to ask the question: what positive things can we learn from Donald Trump's example so that we can capitalize, so that we can be better leaders? I've been thinking about that.
Mm. I think the connection today is not super great, Jay. You're breaking out a few times. So you asked me
Yeah,
like, what
I can.
what can we learn, or do you hear me?
Yeah, what is it about Donald Trump's leadership style that we can learn, and what did he teach us that is positive?
That is positive. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, well, okay. So what can we learn and what is positive? So with that question, I want to share that I actually have met many people who are Trump supporters here in Vietnam. I don't know if you're watching. I am based here in Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam, and it seems like she. I'm not 100% sure, but it seems like my mother. She's also a Trump supporter, and when I asked her, the first thing she says is China. So when I hear that, it's like, oh, mom. Okay, so you're a Trump supporter because you are, afraid that China will take over Vietnam or be more powerful or something like that. So I'm like, so for in her case, it's about, fear, right? It's not because he's so powerful or something like that, but it's really the first thing she mentioned is China. So I'm like, interesting. So I think to if I need to say something or find something positive, I would say, well, people think about, yeah, actually, it's not only for themselves a selfish thing, but their family and the generations after that they want to protect, right? So in that way, it's kind of like it's sad because it's you're living in fear, but the beautiful thing in it is you want to be protective of your family,
Hmm.
so that's one thing that I take away.
Well,
Yeah. And how about you, Jay?
it's not that Trump is really against China, by the way. His daughter has
Mm,
many, I forget how many, but special. What is it that when they have when you have your own brand and then you have this license to to specialize and only you get to sell that brand. She owns several of those licenses in China. Her 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 factories is in China. They have a lot of business in China, and Trump actually paid more taxes in China than he pays in the United States to our government. Okay, so it's not like he is against China. In fact, he's doing business with China. However, when it comes to the mass, he's willing to put on a front to say whatever he needs to say to get the vote. So he knows that Asian, especially Vietnamese, hate China. So he will say that to convince us. So that's the fucking lie that this guy constantly put out there, and we keep buying that stuff. So the thing to learn from that though is you have to, as a leader, we have to pay attention to marketing. We have to pay attention to what is it that people want to buy. And I don't think, especially engineer leaders, they're not interested in that. They're interested in, if I just make the product really good, then I will sell and all is
Mm.
well. But actually, as a leader, we have to speak to what it is that your people want to hear and is willing to stand in that. But please stand in it from a truthful place instead of from a lie. So Trump really show us how important that lesson is, to pay attention to your marketing of what it is that you're doing. So that's one. Um, Another one that I think Trump does that's so amazing is that until Trump became president, everybody in any kind of public office, when there's a little scandal or even a hint of a scandal, they all resign. They're like, or even in Japan, they take a sword out and they do harikari and kill themselves, right? Because, oh, I brought shame to the family. Trump just blow all of that out of the water, and he's just kind of like, hey, you know, I don't care what you say. I'm just going to stay in office as long as I can, and my words override everything. So he just stays in, and the news cycles get bored and move on, and he continues to be in office. So I think there's something there that redefine for us, like, wait a minute, do we need to resign? If you're a good leader and something bad always happen, please don't resign. Stick it through. Stay in the game and let it blow over. Have some more thick skin. Because I think Trump really show how important it is to have a thick skin. And everything will blow over.
Oji, the connection is super poor today. Can you hear me? Is it only on my
I
thing?
can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
You can hear me. Okay.
We can do this again. I can go on
All
it
right.
again.
Yeah. Sarji, can you just repeat the last part, please?
Oh, I was saying that I think it's so important to not resign. I think a lot of leaders, when they face something challenging or difficult, they, they're shamed, and then they resign. And in Trump's case, he just stick around for a long time, and then everything just blows over, and then he's still there. So I think maybe we don't have to resign. Maybe shame is unnecessary. We can be more thick-skinned and just say, yeah, so what? I'm going to stay here. I'm a good leader. I'm going to stick around and stay in.
What do you think is his, what does he want to leave behind? What's the legacy that he's building?
I don't think he cares about that. That's what's so crazy. We worry about what history will say to us, what legacy will do. I don't think he cares about that. He just cares about this moment. How much money can he grab? How much power can he grab? And how much ownership of this can he own? I think legacy and history books and all that stuff are just, to him, he's like, who cares about that? It's in this present moment that matters to him. And
Hmm.
he and
So with
and he thinks that he's the best president ever. He wants to put his face onto the Mount Rushmore. We have that Mount Rushmore with the four president on there. Well, he wants to be the fifth face on there. The guy just thinks the world of himself. We can use a little bit of that, just a little.
Yeah, it seems like he really enjoys what he's doing, right? And his position and this power and everything. But the leadership. But I'm really wondering if he's really like happy. What do you think?
I don't think so. I think he's run by this fear that he's not good enough, and he's constantly having to prove that, or wanting people around him to applaud him. He's still, I mean, this is the psychological damage from his father that passed down to him. Fred Trump was an asshole like him, and Fred Trump really played against the children on top of each other for Fred Trump's um, power. So the narcissistic got passed down from Fred Trump, and he developed Donald Trump to be the way he is. I don't think he's a happy leader, absolutely not. But I think he's power hungry, and he gets away with it so much. Like, there's so much. We think so little compared to Donald Trump, what he can do. And I think we can learn from that. Maybe we should question ourselves a bit more of like, am I too cautious? Can I push some more? Can I take a bigger stand for what I see and how I do? Can you just imagine being a leader like Donald Trump, but for the good of society instead? Oh my gosh, that would be amazing.
Mm-hmm. Really good point, yeah. Sometimes I had a few comments before, well, when you think like you are thinking too much about yourself, and you're like being fearful and uncomfortable and really putting yourself out there, and then you need to think, okay, I need to pass, do this and really do this for, to influence more people, positively. So yes, I agree with that.
We could say, what would the good Donald Trump do? Not the current one, but like, what if we give ourselves as much power and trust ourselves and do our work for good, and not question, not second guess ourselves, not throw ourselves out before other people throw us out. That's just good. I mean, like, I'm blown away at how many rules he had broken, and how many societal things that it didn't matter to him. It just didn't matter. And we make it into such a big deal. Oh, I'm so shame. I'm so shame. People don't like me.
I only heard, I'm so ashamed and people don't like me. Sorry, Jim.
Oh, I just said that, like, we're run by shame and by what people's opinions, and Donald doesn't run by that. He's just run by his own inner narcissistic. I'm not suggesting that we should all become narcissist leaders, but I do suggest that we should look and challenge our own thinking of like, is that really true? Can we, do we really need to resign? Can we really take a stronger stand? Can we push more? What would Donald say right here? Like, maybe we have much more privilege and
Mm.
much more power, much more influence than we think we do. I don't know. I think just from his watching him. So
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
we
that's
should
very interesting what you're saying. Mm.
should
Because the
we
other day I was
bring this.
also,
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
yeah, I was also thinking what you just mentioned right now about should we resign, and when should we, um, just if we are not really enjoying what we are doing, but we find ourselves at a place where there are maybe a few people in our circle who are not really our cup of tea, or really have this similar,
Mm-hmm.
belief or leadership style or values. So I've been asking myself, do I want to, to stay and be surrounded by these people? Um, and yeah, you really it's really interesting. So a friend of mine said, well, Luan, if you want to make a difference, you need to get past that, and not let that bother you. But then you need to, that's an even stronger reason for you to stay and to make a difference, to influence.
Yep. Don't
I
quit.
because as leaders, there will be people, other leaders who are different from you,
Worse
very
than
different,
you.
right?
There will be other leaders who are worse than you, but
Yeah.
will take the position because you took yourself out. I like this conversation has your eyes get wide a lot of times. It's so cute. It's like, what? All right. I think we should bring this to a close for today. It seems like the internet is not going very well, and we can listen to it. If it's not well, we can always find another time, and then we can do this again because I think it's a very fascinating topic. Sounds good.
Yes. Okay, Jay. The
Okay,
connection today is not really what I don't know why. Yeah. Okay.
we're talking across the
So
world.
thank
You're in
you
Vietnam and
so
I'm in
much. I learned a
California,
lot
so
today. It was really interesting.
thank you too, thank you so much for. Oh, hi, Christine. Thank you
Thank you,
for
Jay.
watching, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you,
Yes.
everyone.
So let me just bring us to a close. So thank you for watching, and hopefully the sound you can hear the sound. If not, let us know, and we will redo this episode because I love this topic so much. Um, and if you would like to get a hold of Lon, you can find her on LinkedIn. Grow with Lon Tran,
Yes,
Lon on Link.
LinkedIn.
Yes, on LinkedIn or Instagram, Grow with Luan, or on Facebook, Luan Chan. And you can find me at Naval Coach on Facebook and LinkedIn actually. Anyway, uh, I'll talk to you guys next week. No, actually, next week I can't do the episode because I don't have internet next week, but the week after.
Okay. So
Okay?
we'll see you
Yeah.
the week after next week.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Have a great day,
Bye, everyone. Bye, Jay.